Hi there, my name is Andrew Williamson. I'm the Business and Engagement Coordinator here at NEMIC, the New England Medical Innovation Center, and I'm joined today by Andrew Willwerth, a former participant in our MedTech Leadership Program. For those of you who may not be familiar, we are a MedTech and med device incubator and accelerator located here in Providence, Rhode Island, and we work with entrepreneurs and startups from a breadth of health tech innovations in the space. We offer two types of programming. We have our NEMIC Accelerator, as well as our MedTech Leadership Program, of which Andrew is a graduate, is designed to give you a holistic overview, everything you would need to know in order to commercialize a medical device. There's an array of classes that are broken up across a few different verticals and covers everything from launching the product, the market strategy, intellectual property, IP and defensibility, all the way to actually launching the company, how to fund the company, pitch the company. Both are aimed at advancing medical innovations in a particular field for entrepreneurs. And with that, welcome to Andrew.
Thank you.
My namesake and fellow cohort
Thank you for having me. I am happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much. So maybe just some introductions about yourself and your educational background and how you came to us.
Yeah, of course. I just graduated about 8 months ago from Brown University, where I was an undergrad. I studied biomedical engineering. And my background is in medical device, kind of college internships, and otherwise early career explorations were all in that field. And I'm really interested in not just the engineering side, but the whole medtech field as a whole. And I found NEMIC actually through a announcement of one of the student clubs that I was a part of. Just an email chain one day came through with a announcement about this cool program that was being offered at a nonprofit in Rhode Island. And I looked into it, and the MedTech Leadership Program looked like something really interesting and aligned with how I kind of wanted to further my education. And here we are.
Very good. Did you have, prior to taking MedTech Leadership Program, did you have a particular career goal set out in mind, or was it a little murky at that time? I'm curious sort of what your mindset was prior to enrolling.
Yeah, as I said, my undergrad degree was in biomedical engineering. I knew that I wanted to be in the medtech space, but my only experience and frame of reference was really from an engineering point of view. I really enjoy the technical side, but I wasn't yet convinced that that was something I could see myself doing as a career. And I didn't really have much exposure to other areas within the field, whether it be intellectual property or regulatory. And MedTech Leadership Program was really my first exposure to a lot of these areas. It really broadened my horizons as to what I could do, actually. Not only what I was qualified for after the program, but what even career paths there were out there for me.
So you mentioned this sort of came to you in a forum, and a forum at your school. What about it eventually drew you in and made you think, like, yeah, this is something that's good for me, and I think I'd like to? I mean, students are super busy, right? So you have any number of things you could be doing with your time. Was there a particular thing, or what was that thing that made you say, yeah, I'm going to take this course?
Sure. So I consider myself as someone who really likes to try new things. So getting to the first class was a no-brainer for me, because if I didn't like it, it wouldn't be for me, but I had nothing to lose. So I came to that first class, and that was really what grabbed me, not only because Aiden and Lydia introduced the class and all this wide array of topics that we'd be covering that interested me, but because of my co-participants, actually. And this cohort of about 20 other participants who ranged from medical students to industry professionals who were experts in their field with 20 years of experience, to mid-career professionals who were looking for a change, with backgrounds in engineering and regulatory, some with little to no medtech experience at all. And I really saw the value in exposing myself to this kind of collection of unique experiences and a group of people who might all have different things to offer me.
Reflecting now on the program as a whole and your experience there, what were your biggest takeaways from having done the program?
Sure. First of all, NEMIC broadly and the MedTech Leadership Program really made me realize that innovation is for everyone. Within Rhode Island, within the US, across the world, I would say. Another one of my big takeaways was that a community that you have built around you is key to innovation. It's key to creating a new product. It's key to understanding a market, building something new, whether it be an app or a device. Kind of understanding the resources and care that NEMIC and the MTLP puts into the participants made me realize that if I have an idea and I have this community of support behind me, it really, anyone can do it.
Now being on the other side of the program, and I think I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about, so now you're employed at Johnson Johnson, so a large strategic. And so do you feel as though there was a benefit to having gone through the program from a professional standpoint, sort of for your positioning? Or I'm curious to hear what about that might have come through, either about your selection process when you're looking for employers, maybe how some of the interactions went on the other side of you going to these places. So any sort of insights there, I would love to hear.
For sure. First of all, the MedTech Leadership Program prepared me incredibly well for moving into what I would say was a new space for me. And I think beyond students moving into the workforce, it also extends to anyone maybe mid-career changing focus areas or changing sectors entirely. As we talked about, this kind of exposure to all these different background areas is so valuable when you're working in a larger company like Johnson Johnson. Every day I'm working with engineers, I'm working with legal teams, I'm working with medical affairs, I'm working with marketing professionals, and being able to speak their language because of classes I took at NEMIC really positions me as, it makes me better at my job, and I do think it made me a better candidate when I was looking for work, for sure.
What advice would you give to anybody who might be thinking about enrolling in MedTech leadership, or are there certain insights or pearls of wisdom you'd want to share?
Sure. I would certainly say that you will never regret it. There is not any amount of time that would not be worth the kind of invaluable experience and insight that you will gain as part of the program. I would say that the program really allows you to be a better, more well-rounded professional in any setting. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. And I think it really is, it's bolstering the Rhode Island ecosystem as a whole. You see Boston nearby has kind of a big bubbling biotech system, but Rhode Island is right behind because of NEMIC, because of universities, because of the health systems. I mean, Providence and Rhode Island as a whole is poised to become this kind of hub of innovation. And NEMIC and the MedTech Leadership Program, I think, will play a really important part of that.
So thinking about people going through the program, how would you say participants can best maximize their experience, or is there any way they should prepare? Not that preparation is required by any stretch, but how can they sort of get the most out of the program?
Yeah, I would say be open to learning, be open to being surrounded by people from different backgrounds and different professional areas, and be curious. I mean, it's a program designed for people who want to learn. And I think it is best suited and really effective if you're curious at all about the medtech ecosystem. I would say come into it with eagerness to learn and excitement to meet some new people.
Very good. Yeah, thinking about cases like yours, of which it seems with each passing year, each passing cohort, there are more and more, cases like yours are precisely what we had in mind as one of the groups that would benefit from taking this type of program. So perhaps a undergraduate or graduate student who is seeking to enter the workforce and being able to bolster the skills, add to the skill set, make them more competitive in the health technology sector. And so, it's always heartening to hear people going through the program sort of confirming that is in fact the case, that you were able to kind of take all of that away, and now you find yourself gainfully employed by a strategic.
Exactly.
So looking back at your personal journey, your time with NEMIC, your time in the program, I'm curious, what are you most proud of so far, if you had to boil it down?
The other thing that I wanted to touch on was that I was working on a product, on a startup, when I was in the MedTech leadership program. And many participants in the program are, and many are not. It is by no means a requirement. But the program was super valuable for making really important connections. I was gaining exposure to a lot of fields I didn't understand, but when you are working on a startup, you don't always have the time to sit around and learn. And so while I am learning about reimbursement, having a industry professional teach it to me, who I then can go to and say, hey, could we connect later, actually, because I have some more questions for you, and I'm working on something of my own that I'd really love to run by you. Or this whole network, really, of professionals who are poised and ready to help with the next generation of innovation, really. And so I think beyond anyone who's just excited about learning, I think the program's super valuable for anyone who has an idea. And for me, when I first started the program, that idea was brand new. It was a notebook drawing, I would say. And by the end of it, we were patent pending. And so you can start from anywhere. I had co-participants in my cohort who were already looking at funding and already looking at really anywhere in the process. And I think that the MedTech Leadership Program would be valuable to any of those people.
Yeah, I heard you touch on two really critical things that I think are key to the MedTech Leadership Program, the build out of it. And so one of those is that sort of, there's a practical application element behind it. And I think this differentiates the in-person programming a little bit from, say, e-learning or even a classroom setting. I mean, it's built with a classroom setting in mind, but having that access to the industry professional who certainly is a subject matter expert, but is a either practicing or formerly practiced industry professional is critical. And so to be able to go to them with something like a napkin sketch, or on the other end, something that's already seeking funding to kind of work through all those particulars is quite rare and probably, arguably invaluable.
Exactly.
And so that's, I think, critical.
Yeah. And for students, I would say there's another layer of value, which is that I talked to a number of those professionals about what their career path was like and how they started and how they got where they were, and kind of their favorite parts of their field and focus area, because I wasn't necessarily sure at the time what path I wanted to take. And so speaking to kind of FDA or regulatory professionals really kind of not only, I think, made me a better candidate, but also made me more passionate about the field. And the same goes for any number of focus areas. But I think that's a really important focus point for students who might be considering enrolling in the program.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Andrew Willwerth, our former MedTech leadership participant. We are so thrilled to be speaking with you and happy for you and look forward to staying in touch. And for those of you watching, certainly for more information, you can visit nemic.org. We have a page there with all of our information about our programming, or sign up for our newsletter, which we send out every month, which you can find at nemic.org/news. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.